This stock is going to the moon. Hello guys, welcome back to Stacking Stocks, and thank you so very much for joining us today. We've prepared some great informational content for you today. Are you excited to be here today? We are always so happy to guide you with any financial decisions you make. Today we'll talk about a certain stock that has so much potential you won't believe it. Now don't get anxious, you'll find out about the stock in just a moment. Just sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and relax. Before we begin, let's have a quick recap of our previous session. In our last session, we gave you a guide on making a consistent profit with trading. Every successful trader needs a well-written trading plan. Have you written a trading plan? We hope that you're considering doing so, especially if you've not yet written a trading plan. Did you miss our previous session? Well, don't worry, you can still watch the video and find out more about making a consistent profit with trading. Now let's move on to today's headlines. Are you wondering what we have for you today? We have exciting informational content on a stock that is currently taking over the market. Shares of Moderna, the COVID-19 vaccine maker, have skyrocketed lately. According to the S&P 500 ratings, Moderna tops other stocks this year. This is a big win for Moderna. They have really outperformed themselves for a company that was yet to commercialize a product before the pandemic. What's the secret behind their success? What are the figures in terms of sales? In the first half of the year, Moderna reported approximately $5.9 billion in COVID-19 vaccine sales. Isn't that amazing? If that doesn't convince you to invest in such a stock, then what will? And that's not even the end of it. Moderna has already signed $12 billion in advance purchase agreements for its coronavirus vaccine next year, with an additional $8 billion in options. For a company to take such a huge financial risk, they are confident in their sales. Have you embraced this stock? Did you even know that it's a top performer across all benchmarking indexes? Both individual and professional investors have embraced the Moderna stock. The investors drove the stock as high as $497.49 intraday, which was an all-time high this month. On Friday, the 20th of August 2021, the Moderna stock closed at roughly $389. Watch out for this stock. Moderna market capitalization vaulted to $150 billion intraday, down from its peak of approximately $200 billion, but it still ranks higher than pharmaceutical powerhouses Bristol-Myers Squibb Company and GlaxoSmithKline plc, as well as retail pharmacy chain CVS Health Corp. We challenge you to name a better stock that's going to the moon. Moderna has left many investors wondering whether it will soon become a trillion-dollar company. The high-flying COVID-19 vaccine maker has delivered an outstanding 1,870% return since the start of the pandemic in January 2020. However, there's still a big question waiting to be answered. If you're a serious stock market investor, you should be asking yourself how the Moderna stock rallied from as low as $100 at the end of 2020 to nearly $500 as of August 2021. Well, let's find out. Here's what Stéphane Bancel, the Moderna CEO, had to say about COVID-19. The coronavirus that has brought the world economies to a standstill and overwhelmed hospitals will be around forever. We're going to live with this virus, we think, forever. Don't you think the company will now keep pushing production and sales? Do we believe that Moderna will be aiming to be the best vaccine in the market? The result will be higher sales, thus more stock dividends for investors. Are you getting where we're heading now? Anyway, let's analyze massive sales figures that Moderna has posted in recent days. Forbes reports that the first leg of the rally that happened through the first half of this year was relatively steady and came as Moderna scaled up production and distribution of its much sought-after COVID-19 vaccine, signed new supply agreements, and reported robust financials on its shot. Net margin stood at an incredible 64% for the first half of 2021. According to this Forbes report, the surge in Moderna stock came as a result of the steady demand for COVID-19 vaccines. At the beginning of the pandemic, the world was desperate to get a vaccine. For reliable vaccines like Moderna, the demand surged as people rushed to get a dose of it. Higher demands mean more sales. What would stop the stock from surging even higher? And the first rally is not even the best part of it. Since mid-June 2021, the Moderna stock rallied from nearly $200 to the current levels of around $500. What do you think is driving the recent surge? Here's what Forbes' report says. There's an increasing realization that COVID-19 will be more difficult to contain than initially thought, even in countries with high vaccination rates, due to the emergence of new virus variants. For example, the 7-day average of COVID-19 cases in the U.S. has risen from around 22,000 in early July to over 124,000 currently due to the highly infectious Delta variant of the virus. Cases in highly inoculated Israel are also up by almost 10 times over the last month. Research is also showing that protection provided by COVID-19 vaccines begins to wane after several months. These developments are making a real case for booster vaccinations, and Moderna is perfectly poised to cater to this market with its mRNA technology, which can be more quickly adapted to fight new variants. This could mean that Moderna's highly lucrative COVID-19 vaccine revenues are likely to continue for the foreseeable future, rather than just being a one-off pandemic product. This will likely cause the investors to re-rate the stock higher. The report by Forbes addresses your concern as a stock market investor. Will the Moderna stock last past the COVID-19 pandemic? Is it a one-hit wonder stock? If you've been keen on the coronavirus, you must have noticed that there are new variants every time the COVID-19 cases are reported to be on the low. Furthermore, we can't say that the vaccines are permanent. This report by Forbes indicates that the vaccines wane after some months. What does that mean for the consumers? It means that they'll have to get another dose of the vaccine to keep themselves safe from the coronavirus. Moreover, Moderna stock was included in the S&P 500 in July, which drove strong demand for the stock from index funds that track the S&P 500 and possibly from managed funds benchmarked to the S&P 500. This momentum has also pushed the stock up considerably in recent weeks. Does this mean that the Moderna stock could surge even higher? We can't really tell. It's essential to note that the stock is trading at 20 times its projected 2021 earnings. Wow, imagine if you had invested in the stock before 2021. If you're a part of the investors who did so, you must be reaping huge from this Moderna stock. Moderna has evidently posted huge figures. So let's go back to Stefan Bancel and find out what he has to say about it. This is what he said. I'm proud of the progress our teams at Moderna have made in the past quarter in advancing our development pipeline while addressing a global pandemic and quickly establishing global manufacturing and commercial organizations. We now have mRNA candidates in clinical trials across 5 therapeutic areas: infectious diseases, cardiovascular, oncology, rare disease, and autoimmune disorders. We're pleased that our COVID-19 vaccine is showing durable efficacy of 93% through 6 months, but recognize that the Delta variant is a significant new threat, so we must remain vigilant. Moderna's CEO is amazed by the progress the company has made. Nonetheless, we still have to wait and see if the stock will sustain the growth and margins moving forward. It's one thing to have potential, but sustaining the growth is the most difficult task. Remember, we're dealing with an essential commodity in the global market. Such products tend to attract a lot of concerns, criticisms, and scrutiny. As much as the vaccination rate has improved globally, there is stiff competition from other vaccine makers like Novavax. Any vaccine that is proven to be highly effective and cheap could easily affect Moderna's popularity. The current world is full of uncertainties. Aren't you just desperate to get through this pandemic? However, we still can't take away the credit that the Moderna stock has earned. We'll keep you posted on any information surrounding the Moderna stock. Once again, thank you for tuning in to Stacking Stocks today. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.